Hello everyone, welcome to a big edition of Hong Kong Horse Racing. Jason Richardson with the best analyst in Hong Kong and Clint Hutchison and the Hall of Fame jockey in Shane Dye. Lots to talk about. Champions Day last week was absolutely brilliant. Hutch, 3 best horses delivered.
Yep, good day for the favourite backers. And yeah, the cream rose to the top. All the favoured runners seem to do their thing. Some great clashes, great results. I've got to say as well off the top here, Richo, you're looking sharp.
Well, I came as dressed as your hero day, and my hero Shane Dye, so I wanted to look like you back in the 90s, RS.
Yes, I used to look like that. Not anymore. I don't own suits anymore. I don't need them, mate. And anyway, Richo, I could never look as good as you.
Oh,
never.
Stop it. In fact, talking about how much his life has changed, I organised a function for RS Dye a couple of years ago at Crown, and he swanned in and said, Richo, I've changed my life for the moment. I haven't even got a suit. Can you get me a suit organised?
That's what you can do when you've got plenty.
When I gave up riding, I looked at my wardrobe. There was about 30 Versace suits, because that's what I used to wear, Versace suits, right? And I put on weight. I gave them all away. And I said, why do I need a suit? I'm not going anywhere, and I don't want to go to functions anymore. So I just didn't have suits.
Don't worry, we convinced him to come to this function, and he was absolutely hilarious and hard-hitting as always. Huge show coming up. We're going to burst out of the gates and reflect on Champions Day. Star Power is an exquisite guest. Hutchi sits down one-on-one with the great Mick Kinane. That is going to be compelling, of course. The highs and the lows, Guineas and Slaughter, Ocky and Veandercross. We'll find you some winners, of course. Hutchie'sHonkers.com is the website to be able to find all of the great selections, but let's burst straight out of it. Well, Hutchie, we'll get you to burst out of the gates. Golden 60, what are his earnings, all-time earnings about, to put it into Aussie terms from Hong Kong, about 20 million Australian,
yep.
Elite turn of foot. What a race.
Yeah, great race, and I thought it was a really good ride once again. I mean, Vincent, once he had the back of California Spangle in the run, and Shane alluded to this. He said if he's within 3 lengths last week, he'll just blow him away, and he was actually a bit closer than I thought. I thought Vincent might be a little more conservative in the run, but the way the race worked out, Shane, it was ideal. He sat on his back and said, see you later.
Oh, definitely. He was outstanding. He's just too good when he's up there and he's 3 or 4 lengths. He's got an amazing 200-metre quicken from the 400 to the 200, and he can just put pay to them. Look, he doesn't have to be ridden like that every time. Every big race is different. So sometimes he'll be up there, sometimes he's going to be back, but he's too good for them.
Goes to Japan, Yasuda Kinen. Shane, does he measure up?
Definitely he measures up. It's different over there, though. They run along very fast and it's open. And actually the mile there will suit him because it's a little bit further than a mile because it's fast, even though it's a mile. A fast run on a big track. So he'll be suited there.
Yeah, that'd be one place I'd like to see him ride him a bit more conservatively. The pace will be good. He's a better, Fairy King Prawn was a superstar. He won the Yasuda Kinen. Bullish Luck went over and won it. He's a better horse than them. He's probably the best horse Hong Kong's ever had. Golden 60s record says that. The prize money he's had says that. And as long as he travels okay, I mean, that's the other thing. Good Barbar was a freak at Sha Tin over a mile, but wouldn't win a Class 3 over a mile in Hong Kong. So that's something that Golden 60 has to do. He has to travel well. And just getting back to California Spangle, I don't think he went to his usual. On my ratings, he didn't quite go to his normal level. So
didn't hit the benchmark,
don't think we saw the best out of him on the day. He was still good enough for second, a bit tired. Like for me, Shane, I thought he was a little bit flat. He wouldn't have beaten Golden 60 anyway, but I thought he was just a little bit flat out of that Derby run.
As I said last week, Clint, he's going to be better next season. This is too soon for him. He'll come back better and bigger next year, but he's at the end of his tether now.
What about some of the names that the Derby winner, Romantic Warrior, joined? So I look at Vengeance of Rain, Ambitious Dragon, Designs on Rome, Werther. You win the Derby and then you win the QE2. Shane, that is rare air. Romantic Warrior, and our man Karis Teeton got it 100% right.
Yeah, gave him a very good ride and he was just too good, but there wasn't much in the race outside the second favourite. He's going to dominate next year here unless in the international races the Japanese produce their best coming here.
I think he's up to them. I mean, this is, like I said, it was a high-rating derby. We've seen him come and beat the old horses. I agree with what Shane said. He hasn't beaten a great deal. But Shane, to do this in your first preparation, let's not forget that. He had his first race earlier this season at Happy Valley where he sat off the track over 1,201. I mean, it's an amazing effort on every level.
And he can only get better. They always come back better and stronger their second seasons. It'll be like California Spangle, the same. He's going to be better next year. So you are correct, Clint. It was an amazing effort. Nice horse, only going to get better.
Russian Emperor was a bit disappointing though, Shane.
Oh, definitely. But he sat back and wide. And you got to remember he had a problem before the race coming into it, even though they said that he was over it. He didn't get the best of runs in the race, but he was a little bit disappointing.
Hey, how good was Hong Kong Jockey Club's celebration of Casper Founds' 1,000 wins? That little video they put together, that with a little bit of course,
dance moves.
Bit of dance moves from Cass. Brilliant.
He can dance. He can sing. He's very funny. We'll have him on the show soon. He actually, Shane, he's going to have a big weekend. Cass, he's got a lot of good chances on the weekend. But we will have him on, the brother-in-law. He'll come on, I'm sure.
He better.
He likes to come on when he's going to have a good day. So,
hello.
Yeah, we'll have to just tee that up shortly.
1,000 winners for Casper and 1,400 for Zach Purton. Shane's unbelievable.
When Cass comes on, we've got to get him to talk Indian. It's hilarious.
He's such a character. Zach's milestone with 1,400 winners in Hong Kong, Shane?
Huge effort, and he's only going to, if he stays, he's going to go above Douglas, which I think's around 1,700. A big effort. Like he knocked Douglas off at his peak. He knocked Joe off at his peak. It's a huge effort, considering he doesn't ride under 120 pounds also.
Yeah, that's the big
full
thing.
credit to him. Big effort, and he can't knock it.
Talking about the premiership, so Moreira 108, Purton 106, Carris Teeton 57, trainers FC Law and Jay Size both on 65.
Yeah, Frankie Law, of course, used to be John's assistant, and he's a very good trainer. I mean, as punters, Shane, and people that are following the game, you like to follow stables that can, with horses that, they keep their horses at a level and consistent. And Frankie's obviously molded himself around John Size. Of course, he was, I think, before John Size with John Moore. So he's had a couple of very good mentors in the game.
Yeah, I think this is about his fourth season now. It might be his third or fourth. He's done extremely well. He's going to win the premiership one year. Whether it's just this year is debatable, but he's always been up there every year, and he handles it very well, and he would have learnt a lot from the two Johns.
And Shane, what have you made of Lyle Hewittson's red-hot form at the moment?
Going well. He's ridden 5 winners in 2 meetings, but you got to remember they were on tracks that suited the horses he was riding. Like the last 2 tracks, which was unusual at Sha Tin last week, was fence on pace, whereas normally it's back and wide. And of course, Wednesday night was a very, very big leader's bias, and he led his 3 winners. But he's going good, and it's good to see these boys like that. Luke Ferrara's had a bit of a run along there for a while, riding some more winners.
And what does it mean to Casper, 1,000 winners? Is he the sort of guy that would get a lot of satisfaction out of that, or he's not really a milestone sort of guy?
No, he's a milestone guy. He loves records. I think he's a winning most trainer at Happy Valley. So I think I've spoken to him. He's pretty happy about that as well. So it's a fair record, isn't it, in the history of Hong Kong racing to be the winning most trainer at Happy Valley. So he's pretty happy with that. He might say he doesn't like it, Shane.
Okay, yeah.
But he loves it. He does love it.
I think there's only 3 that have trained more. I could be wrong. I think John Moore trained about 1,700.
John Size is in good form at the moment. So that little battle for the championship will be something that we'll really get our teeth around, no doubt.
Yeah, it'll be a good finish. I mean, it usually is. I mean, what John Size does is remarkable. I mean, it's very hard to go back to back, but he always seems to be competitive every year. So his method and strategy of being competitive with a high turnover and getting those improving horses through has proven a great recipe year after year.
Bouquets for you, Beauty Joy, great selection. You were keen on Wellington, Romantic Warrior. You thought Golden 60 would be far too good, of course, at a really short price. So Hutchi's Honkers delivers Group 1 days.
Look, we had a good day. We made a profit.
That's all that counts.
It does count. Yeah, it does.
We gave a little bit
I've got to say this, Shane, though. I thought Romantic Warrior started a bit shorter than I thought he might. He was pretty well found in the market at the end, wasn't he? I think $1.80 he started with a tote.
the problem was, Clint, there wasn't much in the race you could back. Now, do you want to back the second favourite who's had a problem going into the race? And on my map, he was going to get a bad run. And I brought that up last week, how gate 5 was not a good gate for him because the horses inside were all going to be there. And he had to come back very fast or miss the kick to get in. And he jumped with the other 4. And, of course, he was 3 wide. So when you went through the field trying to find something to back the 2 favourites, you just couldn't.
All of the Hong Kong jockeys sit up and take notice. This is the time to get nervous because Shane Dye's cast his eye over the rides. He's going to give us his genius and slaughter from the week.
They sweep for home now. Veandercross has come very wide. Veandercross answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it.
Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off and he pinches the Chipping Norton.
Genius or slaughter or Ocky or Veandercross is the way that we do it. And all of our Hong Kong jockeys are sitting at the edge of their seat at the moment thinking, oh no, is Shane going to give me a pat on the back or is Shane going to identify me? RS Dye, let's start with a positive. Who was your genius ride?
Matthew Chadwick again. He's got it a couple of weeks now. I thought this was a very good ride here. Wonder Years is back in the field, as you can see. Now, Wednesday night was a huge leaders fence track, but this race was 2,200 and they went fast and he had no option but to go back. Now, what I like, 2 things about Matthew, he showed initiative at the right time and going forward, but not only that, he showed a lot of strength and he's using the stick now. In his younger days, he never used to use the stick. He rode hands and heels and it used to drive me mad, absolutely mad in a finish because I honestly believe you need the stick, simple as that. Now, you'll see into the back here, he's back and he starts to come off. Now, if you watch the jockey, 2 or 3 in front of him in the red cap, he misses the boat on this horse, which is Natural Storm. When he won last week, he was under the stick at the Rock with Joe Moreira on, but Vincent doesn't get him going soon enough. And Chadwick gets up and around him, and I call that with Vincent missing the boat. He should have been outgoing, and you can see him pushes it out there. The third horse takes off, Stimulus from back also. This was about the only race they come from a long way back and circled them. Now, Matthew's got this horse under the stick a long way from home, and he doesn't let up on him. And he just keeps going. He switches the stick back into his right hand, and the horse keeps going. And the other horse got a nice run through, Natural Storm, but he would have been better off going at the Rock and winding up, especially with 133 pounds on.
What a great analysis. What a super ride, because there was moments in that where you thought, no chance, Hutchi. You had to really work hard.
Yeah, no, well picked from Shane. I mean, he made the ride won the race. I mean, he took off at the right time, like Shane said.
But there's another race here coming up now. Watch this. Now, you see him turning for home here, Romantic Warrior. He's under the stick here. Matthew never used to do this. This horse was never going to win. It was actually my only bet on Wednesday night. I thought he would. And he switches the stick here and he's up him on the inside and he just doesn't let up. This crossing hands and riding in the hands and heels, that's all gone now, which is good. And actually, Matthew at present is right. He went from the worst ride of the century on, Dragon Pride, when it was the only time he got beaten 5 starts, to the best ride the last 2 weeks. So he might have taken note of that because he is riding really well at present. But the thing with Matthew is, 1, he's strong in a finish now, and 2, he's making the right decisions in races, which he wasn't always doing before.
Few jockeys are nervous now, RS, because you've been positive. Who was the slaughter?
This was a shocker, I felt. This is Soulmate last Wednesday. Gate 1, Alfred Chan. Like, why don't you take a sit? You know there's pace in the race. There's 2 horses that are going to go, My Sugar and All St. Paul's. Watch him riding this horse hard out here. He wants to lead. So let him go, come back, come outside or sit third in the fence. Now, why this is such a bad ride is I know this horse has won 2 or 3 times over a mile, but he struggles at a mile. And not only that, he was having his first run in about 2.5 to 3 months. So, you know, he's a little bit underdone, you would think. Why lead? Take a sit. And if you have a look at the finish, all these horses up there stop apart from him. And the field's very well spread out, which tells you they're going pretty quick for that type of race. I'm not saying he would have won, but as soon as I saw that after 100 metres, I said, he's got no hope, he can't win. And of course he didn't.
We kept looking at the clock, and when it went 22.95, you went, uh-oh.
Yeah, well, sometimes they can run a 21 something, so that's even faster. But, you'll see up here. If you have a look at All St. Paul's, he stops. My Sugar's the same. But Balegra is there. He stops the horse 4 off. They don't kick. They don't finish the race off because they're gone too quick. He should have been third fence having an easy run.
Can I play the devil's advocate? If he took a sit, he'd be behind that blue horse, the horse in the blue silks. He might have got a bit of traffic. He was sitting behind them.
Who cares? At least you're giving yourself a chance to win and you just come out. And if you don't get a run, you don't get one. But by doing what he did, he gave it no hope. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, the trainer told me to leave. That's the weakest excuse in the world when you're a jockey, because if you know they're going too fast, it's detrimental to the horse's chances by leading.
He actually worked pretty hard, didn't he?
Yeah.
I thought it was
very hard.
Yeah, he worked very hard, and he might have made the race interesting. Thank God he didn't, because we like joy. But
you can see the other horse wanted to lead.
Yeah,
and actually, Teaton's a little bit to blame because he could have got to the fence very easy, but he didn't want to knock everyone down. And all he had to do was come across a bit quicker and he would have found the fence because he was over 2 lengths in front of that horse, definitely at one stage, But when he come across and didn't cross quick enough, the other jock just dug up and let him lead, which was the wrong thing to do.
We'll get Alfie Chan on the show just to make sure, if he's okay, because he's got one, but he takes it. That's what we love about RS, though.
Exactly. And he's made his case, and I think he's spot on.
Let's get into the lessons and get into the classroom for our Hong Kong Racing School. Into the classroom, Hutch. Teach us about rail positions at both of the tracks.
Yeah, well, the rail positions they're actually pretty consistent every season. So they call it the A course, which is rail true, and then as this graphic highlights, so that's how much they move out with each meeting. And I think Shane pointed out on one of our previous episodes that you're sort of pretty much always on, or by the majority of the time, are always on fresh ground when the rail goes out and they go back in after a period of time. So most of the time in Hong Kong, you're racing on that fresh ground, and that's for Sha Tin, of course. But you get a similar sort of setup at Happy Valley, really. And of course, during the week we were on the C+3, which is right out at the valley, and it can be quite a biased track, that one, and it certainly was during the week. But yeah, I mean, rail positions are very important. A course can be, as a general rule, inside's not great. It can be more of a run-on type track. But the rest of the tracks, Shane, they play quite fair for the majority of the year, but late in the year and at certain times, there's certainly a fair bit of bias around, which is identified by some and not by others, I think, riders, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, well, on Wednesday night, it was a huge leaders fence track, but that's normally the case on the C+3 at Happy Valley. The outside gates, because what actually happens is, like, you take the 1,200 metre start. Now, when it's at the A track, you might have 200 metres to the first bend, so you can get in. But when it's the C+3 track, you might only have 120 metres to the first bend, so it's not far. And that's why the outside gates struggle, because you haven't got far to the first bend and you get caught wide. Now, last Sunday was unusual for me because normally the A track plays 3 deep back running on down the middle, but last week it was huge on pace or fence. You just couldn't be back and wide. Couple won, but it wasn't suited. And I'll give you an example. The first race on the A track last week, the 2 leaders run 1-2. I think it was Lucky Quality and Fighting Star. I could be wrong. They run 1-2. Well, the second race, Fun and Games was in it, or Fun and Glory or whatever. Zach was right, I think. He gets back. He had gate 10 and he was going to sit 3 deep midfield to back. And I was happy with that. That's where I wanted him. And I was always going to back him last week. But when I saw the first race and a horse like Scotch Science Patch didn't run on, and the second horse, which was favourite, didn't run on as much as or the third horse that didn't run on as much as I thought, I wouldn't back him. because he wasn't going to be in the right spot. So bias of tracks and how tracks are racing does play a big part in me and what I'm backing.
We get it down the straight, obviously. Everyone knows about it. The outside fence is better. I've got a little bit of a theory with that. Should be interesting if Shane agrees or disagrees, but we have a lot of trials down the outside fence in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
They've tried to negate it by moving the rail. It doesn't matter because the outside's always better anyway.
Yeah.
So you know how we get at Moonee Valley when you get some traffic and some compaction, or when it maybe it dries quicker, I'm not sure. But I think that's a big reason why we get a faster lanes out wide at Sha Tin down the straight 1,000, which is one bias that a lot of people are aware of.
And just on that, Shane, this has been a theory, and Hutchi has heard me say this a million times. Racetracks around the world, I would like them to nail in that rail position into the true and then leave it there and let the jockeys find the best going. Agree or disagree?
I couldn't care less, tell you the truth. It would have been better for me if they did, because then I would always find the best part of the track when riding. Look, there's jockeys that are very good at bias and there's jockeys that have got no idea on bias. So doing that would have suited me. But Richo, if you're racing on the same part of the track week in, week out, you're ripping it up too much and it would just become dirt. There'd be no grass. So you actually can't do that at Sha Tin. What they do is they move it out step by step. They don't go out in all over the place like they do in Australia. They're different. They keep going out. So you're always on fresh grass, and the old grass that has been raced on from 1 to 2 to 3 horses out is recovering for the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I think the system's very good. It's worked for a while in Hong Kong and they'll continue it.
It's like you say it often, and we all say it, it's an outdoor sport. So there's going to be days, like you can never have everything perfect. No. I mean, there's bias with barriers.
Yeah.
Some days you think you've drawn awkwardly, but you might be drawn in the right spot. So it's just another part of the criteria that you've got to factor in. The vast majority of the time, you're happy to sort of back your horses in Hong Kong with most rail positions.
No doubt.
Anywhere on the track. And you don't need as much bias because it's quite evenly handicapped, but to have an impact. But you don't get as much, I think, Shane, it's fair to say. Like you can get tracks in Australia which are really off and far more bias than what you get in Hong Kong.
Australia is shocking. So is New Zealand, but Australia is really bad for bias at tracks. You get it over the Carnival, Flemington, when it leads, like you just cannot get back, and you see it all the time there. I always remember when I won the Cox Plate on Octagonal, the fence was off to about 3 and I sat wide, and down the side, I didn't care how wide I was going to go because I knew the fence was off. And I think I was 7-8 right. It wasn't a great ride. I just circled them. But the track was off that day, big time. I've never forgot that. You just had to be wide.
And it was a Cox Plate to remember because Octagonal defeated Mahogany. It was extraordinary. Hey, just quickly, Blake Shin and Nervous Witness talking about bias.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this, Shane. I mean, I don't know what your opinion is on this, but, like we had that leader's track. We had a horse that is a leader in Nervous Witness. Now, no classic unicorns in the race. I just wanted to just get your thoughts on, what was Blake's mindset here? Should he have driven up and held the fence and held classic unicorn out here and the lead on Nervous Witness? I was surprised that he was happy to hand up. It wasn't like that's the kind of horse you're going to sit back and run over the top on. I mean, I know Stoltz has come from further back, but he is a bit more versatile. So in my opinion, put it this way, if Zach Purton's riding Nervous Witness, there's no way he's going to hand up the lead to Classic Unicorn. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
Two things. Blake's not that type of jockey for starters. He doesn't bustle them a lot out of the gates, whereas a Zach would or a Joe would. 2, whether he wins is debatable because they would have gone a bit quicker and it would have actually suited Saltz better. Whether Nervous Witness would have won is debatable because he would have been really pressured and those 2 leaders might have walked the last bit. So I don't know whether he would have won, but I can see what you're saying, and I'm actually not disagreeing with it because he did hand it up, but Schultz might have won easier if that had happened, actually.
I think he would have, and I'm not saying that Nervous Witness would have won, but I'm just trying to get in the mindset of Blake Shin here pre-race. You're on a horse that loves to lead. You're on a leader's track. Yes, you got to go hard. And like I said, I haven't asked Zach. I don't know what his opinion was. He's had some success on this horse. There's no way in the world Zach would have rather got off that kind of horse and thought, I've gone too hard and I was going to punctuate, but I'm not going to give up the fence. I'm not going to give up the lead.
Correct.
Oh, I know you don't need to ask Blake. I can tell you, I'm Blake now. Oh, look, the other horse was going to go too fast and he had the edge on me and I was going to use him too much. And I've got the 133 pounds. So I decided to take a sit. So that's all it was.
All right, let's add some more star power to the show. Really looking forward to this chat. Hutchi one-on-one with Mick Kinane.
Well, it is my great pleasure to welcome in one of the legends of global racing and Mick Kinane. And Mick's been good enough to join us on a little trip over to the UK where he's been testing out some of the new horses that have been purchased by the Jockey Club. And in previous years, one of those that was purchased, Mick, was Romantic Warrior by your good self. Firstly, congratulations on the Hong Kong Derby win. What a season he's had.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. He's for a horse like that to hit the ground running in from October until now to achieve what he done is remarkable. Testament to the horse, really.
Can you tell us a little bit of background about how you found him?
Yeah, I was really keen on him when I saw him. He was one of the only horses of that year that I sent straight to bed after one view. So, and my worry at the time was Angus Gold. I felt that would be my huge opponent to try and bind him. So I changed where I was actually purchasing, where I was used to bid from. I hid on the stairs and I left my Ashley and Mark, who were my team. I left them down in the bidding area, so nobody knew where I was. And Angus Gold actually never bid on him because he thought he was being run up by the vendor. And I luckily he was knocked down to me. Yeah.
And Mick, you know what it takes out at Hong Kong to have that success and how hard it is. So, I mean, what do you make of his win? This is all in his first season. He's gone all the way through the grades. From your experience in Hong Kong, can you just shed some light on what an achievement this is?
Just to handle Hong Kong is, you see some very good horses that will go there with overseas form and not handle it. So it's remarkable that the horses mentally be able to take what he's taking. The horses can have ability, but not. We're not able to handle it mentally. But he just does seem to have that rock solid mental attitude to racing.
Looks like the sky's the limit with him. Now, you obviously, just quickly, you're on the ground in England at the moment. You're doing this work, obviously, for Hong Kong, sourcing these kind of horses. And that's the reason why you're in England this week.
Yeah, we're the next batch that are heading their way. We're sort of barrier trial and 10 or 11 tomorrow, and then we have to try and get them vetted, which is, now that we've stepped up their preps to being trained like racehorses, of course, the veterinary becomes a big issue, So, so this week and next week are sort of nervous times here, So hopefully we can get a few on the plane that'll be okay. It's going to be hard to follow on this year's Romantic Warrior, So. But hopefully we'll get a few nice horses on the plane.
You're enjoying this aspect of your retirement. Obviously, you retired back in 2009. I know you bred a Derby winner and authorised in England, but you're enjoying this side of things. You're still jumping on the back of one or two. Or?
Oh no! I'm very happy to be on the ground now. So I see them coming up to me, So when I turned 60, my wife and kids said, "You've had enough of this, so stay on the ground." So yeah, this has been an exciting project, It's and it's great. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Mick, this weekend, I won't take up too much of your time. I know you're very busy, but you got the 2000 Guineas meeting on. I know Hong Kong have the Whirlpool, and they're hosting the meeting as well. So all of the Hong Kong players will be finally tuned into that. Have you got any thoughts on the 2000 Guineas this weekend? I know Charlie Appleby's got a short price runner in Native Trail.
Yeah, it's very hard to look past him. He's unbeaten. Won the Craven really well. He has a lazy style of racing. He just seems to hit a flat spot and just get and go and beat what's around him. He looks a very exciting horse for the year. Like Aidan O'Brien has Luxembourg and Port Lonsdale. Luxembourg appears to be his sort of Derby type horse. And of course, if he's their best horse, you'll always aim them at a Guineas. And if you can get a Guineas under your belt for a Derby horse, it makes him a very valuable type of horse, So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do. And perfect power of Richo Fahy's won the Greenham really well, champion sort of 2-year-old type. He's going to have to up his game and improve at a mile. Whether he can or not is questionable.
We appreciate that insight there, Mick. And I've got to say before we let you go, you're looking remarkably well. Obviously, that lifestyle of looking and training is really suiting you.
Yeah. Life is good. Thank you. Thankfully.
Well, Mick, thanks very much for all your time. Best of luck going forward with Romantic Warrior and the other purchases that you've made this year. And we look forward to seeing you potentially back out in Australia sometime soon. Any chance you head down under soon?
Yes, well, that's my hope is to get to Hong Kong and then carry on to Australia. So yeah, can't wait to get back.
Fingers crossed, Mick. All the best.
Take care.
The 2000 Guineas at Newmarket is one of the World Pool Meeting, and let's have a look at the field. It's dominated by Godolphin, with Charlie Appleby with both the favourite and the second favourite. Native Trail is the dominant favourite, so Buick rides Native Trail. Caribus is James Doyle, and in its way is the might of Coolmore. So it's Godolphin versus Coolmore, Luxembourg and Point Lonsdale in what's going to be a great race.
Yeah, it'll be a fantastic race. And Charlie Appleby, what can you say about him? I mean, he
is brilliant.
He is unbelievable, in unbelievable form, fantastic trainer. Godolphin have a serious chance. I mean, Native Trail, he looks the winner, doesn't he, on his form leading in, and he's going to be pretty short, I would have thought, even in the World Pool. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not odds on, but looks a great chance for Charlie, whose stable is just firing on all cylinders at the moment.
They've certainly started in great form. Shane, I don't know if you've, punted a bit internationally in recent weeks, but Godolphin have hit the ground running early.
Yeah, I haven't been taking a lot of notice. I don't bet over there. I only bet on Hong Kong. But Native Trail, let me put my glasses on, it's going to be very hard to beat. Nice horse. Second favourite, Luxembourg, with the other horse you mentioned. He probably is going to be better suited. Ryan Moore's on him. He's probably going to be better suited in the Derby than here. He's a nice horse. He could win, but the Derby's probably his go. The fourth favourite, Perfect Power, he's a 1,400-metre horse. He hasn't raced a mile. He's been winning and he's won Group 1 races, but this will test him the distance. Native Trail's racing very well. He's the horse to beat.
And that Newmarket mile, up the hill like Ascot, it's a real test.
It is a test, but they're having so much success at the moment. I mean, since Charlie's been brought in to the training ranks with the Godolphin, their success has been quite incredible. Of course, they had plenty of success with Saeed, but Charlie's brought, I think, to an even better level.
He's got a little X factor, hasn't he? And he's such a wonderful manager of people. He's brilliant to deal with, and he has got it right. So they've got a great team. So it will be that classic clash between Godolphin and Coolmore in the 2000 Guineas. A reminder, it is a World Pool Meeting, so you can bet in through the Hong Kong Jockey Club. All right, let's find some winners on Sunday. Let's start with race number 3, Hutch, and it is a Group 3 race, a staying test over 2,400 metres, but only 5 runners.
It's a time-honoured race, the Queen Mother Memorial Cup. This is a depressing lineup, I would have thought, from the Jockey Club's point of view. I mean, there's not a lot of depth in the mile-and-a-half races, Hong Kong, at the best of times, but a field of 5. We go down to Above, who's rated 79 with his official rating. It's a shame, but look, it provides an opportunity for the 4th place getter in the Hong Kong Derby in Sydney, October. I've got him marked $1.50. Look, I don't know. In this field, he's going to be very short. This was
I'll be
obviously
grabbing $1.50 if that's available.
Yeah, he could be shorter, to be honest. I mean, when you see what Romantic Warrior's done, and we know that Senor Toba Shane's better over a mile and a half, and he's taking on some horses realistically in this handicap where he looks very, very well placed.
Oh, definitely, he should win. Like, this is his go, 2,400. These races are just too short for him. What I classify him as a typical Australian plodding stayer. He just keeps going all day long. So 2,400 is going to suit him. Look, he's had, 5 runs? I might be wrong. It might be 6. He hasn't broken 23 seconds for his last 200 metres because he can't. He's just keeps going the same pace. He cannot quicken. It's just a shame there's not more depth or more races in Hong Kong over 24, because now he's going to get into what he really likes, and he should be winning from Butterfield.
He was owned in Australia by Hermitage. Hermitage have also now sending over straight Aaron for the Derby for next season, who looks to have extreme promise.
He can win the Derby next year for sure. He was very impressive in all of his runs.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially against a real bias in Sydney at his very last start. All right, well, Senor Toba's totally dominated.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to cover the feature. I'm not sure it'll be a betting race, to be perfectly honest, but he looks the one to be. It could be a good start of the day for Casper because he's got an interesting Griffin in the first, of course, in the second race. He's got...
So he has Lucky Banner in the first with Morera on. He has Wonderful Warrior. He's only had the one start for one win with Morera on in the second. And then he has Senor Toba with Morera on in the third.
It could be a real great start to the day for Casper. I think, well, in terms of the betting, I would imagine he'll certainly have 2 of those 3 races covered, if not all 3.
And then the unbeaten Galaxy Witness in the fourth with Morera on. So the list goes on. Hey, let's move forward to race number 10. Let's assess the market here and who caught your eye, and let's have a look at your ratings.
Oh, look, it's an interesting race because we've got a sort of a re-clash, if you like, with Buzzinga, Brilliant Way, of course, and Packing Treadmill. And Buzzinga was terrific last time, and he's drawn a gate. He goes up a little bit in weight. I've still got to mark him favourite. He'll be pretty short. I'm not sure how short he'll be, but look, Packing Treadmill had excuses last start. I've got Brilliant Way, their third elector. I thought the barrier really is going to make it difficult for him. We'll have a look at this replay. Of course, Buzzinga got the better of Brilliant Way. They sat back off the speed. But Shane, I thought Packing Treadmill's run, Zach went forward, posted 3 wide, no cover on a fast speed. He's the one that probably will improve, albeit from a wide gate this time. I don't think Zach will be quite as aggressive.
Yeah, he'll go forward. There's actually not a lot of pace, more or less easy snip went forward but stopped. This is a nice horse, this horse. Yeah, I think he'll win again, Buzzinga. Tony Cruz got 2 nice young horses, this one and Capione, who we were tipping last week. From gate 1, he's going to get the ideal run. I think he makes Packing Treadmill 7 pounds worse and Brilliant Way 4 pounds worse. I think he'll be winning again. You are correct in saying Packing Treadmill could get a better run. He's got an outside gate, but he might get across this time. I don't think it's a hard race. They're the only 3 more or less in it.
What do we know of Keefe with Morera on?
Well, Keefe had that form in Queensland, the majority of, and then they ran in the Bondi, ran second to Halal, which reads well at first glance, but I'm not sure the body of work's great. Looks like more of a miler to me. His trials have been okay, but it's not easy to go there. I mean, he's tackling some horses here that have set a pretty good benchmark already, so he'll run well. I think he looks the 4th pick in the race, but the market will be telling now.
But it'll be overbet because Morera's on, I suppose.
Maybe. I think the market will send around the 3 that we have, but he'll be kept safe. I mean, they never let Joe go out too big on that kind of horse.
What about race number 11? Can we finish in style?
Well, we try to finish in style.
Of course we do. Everything that you do has got a bit of style about it.
Yeah, look, this is an interesting race when you've got, of course, Drops of God, who could be a little bit of an improver in this final
right
event.
At the bottom might be some interest as well.
But Sake wins the 1. I mean, that was really well backed and it was an impressive performance here. I mean, went forward on his debut. One thing I'll say, look, Joe went forward. He set some very easy sections. They let him get away with murder in front, but he put them. I mean, some of the best closing sections of the whole day were in this race. But he quickened very well from the front. He absolutely annihilated opposition. So he goes up in class. We referenced that going up in grade and down in weight. And he might do the same again here, Shane.
He's going to be odds on, I'd say. I think he'll be very short. gate 1. He's going to lead or take a sit. There's actually no pace in the race outside Harmony Win-Win, but Harmony Win-Win shows it 1,400 more than 1,200, but he has gate 12, so he's really going to push forward. He may take him on, and if he does, Joe will take a sit, but it's not a very strong class 3. The top 2 are the 2 outside of Saquon, which is Drops to Gold, I think, from a good gate, and Shining Gem. Drops from gold, gate 1, so he's going to, I think I said Saquon had gate 1. He's got gate 4, I should say. Drops to Gold of Gold's going to get the perfect run, but I don't think he'll be beating the bottom one at the weights.
No, Shane, it looks like a day as well, and this is the whole card. I mean, there's some really nice horses going around, but dare I say it, it looks a bit like a favourite day. I mean,
don't say it.
Littered throughout the card at a lot of these races. There's 1 or 2 chances. There looks a standout. It looks on paper like it could be that sort of day.
Yeah, I'd say there'd be 6 out of the 11 races where there'll be horses $2 or under, around the $2 mark at least.
Well, Hutchi's Honkers, how do we make, is this a multis day? Do we start to multi a few up?
You might have to.
Well,
you might have to.
You tell me, because I listen to you.
Yes.
Is that what we might do?
I won't be doing a multi, but I know you like to. I know you like your multis.
Well, I'm flamboyant. If
yes,
I'm going to win, I want to win big.
Flamboyant today as well.
I want to win big, Shane. I love it. Are you a multi sort of guy?
No, because of the track. I hate backing a horse or multi where the track changes or, it gets back like Fun and Glory the other day. It gets back and I've got a multi into it. And after the first couple of races, I know it can't win because of the way the track is, or it's going to be longer odds than I took because of the track was. So, no, I'm not a multiplayer.
Okay. Well, okay. Looks like I'm on my own there for my multi. HutchiesHonkers.com. Who's your best then?
I think Buzzinga looks one of the best. I mean, should get the right run on the day. He'll be around even money again.
Perfect leg for a multi.
Yeah, perfectly. Take him into Sake Win or Sake Win or whatever it is, and maybe roll him into Senior Toba. Who knows? There you go.
So, hang on, you saw it there and heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. There's a little treble for us.
Yeah, no, there's a little treble, but I think Buzzinga looks a nice horse, doesn't he? So I look, not too many go there and win straight away, and he's gone bang bang. So a little bit more weight, but he gets a softer run from the barrier and he should be hard to beat.
Shane, you've got a lot of work to do between now and Sunday, but at the moment, have you got anything that's caught your eye?
Race 5, number 6, Lucky 8. He's been trialling really well and he's had 6 trials, and every trial he's gone a little bit better. It's not an overly strong class 4, and there doesn't seem to be, on my first go at the race, doing it, a lot of pace. And he could lead in the race and dominate. He'll be favourite for sure. He's a first starter, Lucky 8, unless Oriental Smoke's favourite, but I'd say Lucky 8 would be favourite.
So Zach's riding Oriental Smoke and Joe Moreira's on Shining Fortune, but Lucky 8 with Ruin Maya in the saddle is one for us to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
do you agree with RS?
Yeah, definitely. He's a horse that's been catching the eye in his work and trials. He looks a nice horse. With Ruin on, you might get half a point, 3/4 of a point. Maybe better than what do you
expect?
Well, with one of the leading top 2 in the, I mean, Oriental Smoke's going to attract some attention, but
he's riding all right, Clint.
He is.
I don't mind backing him at present. When he first came, I didn't want to be on him, but now, I think he's riding pretty well.
HutchiesHonkers.com for a full analysis and, of course, a betting plan as well. So you can subscribe to Hutchie's betting plan, whether it be 15, 20, 30 units. You pick at home what your units are and stake accordingly.
Yeah, that's what we plan on doing. And it was tough on Wednesday, but we had a good weekend last weekend, and I'm pretty sure we'll have a good time of it this weekend at Sha Tin as well.
Hey Shane, as always, mate, an absolute pleasure chatting all things Hong Kong racing with you, my brother.
Mate, I just want to come to wherever you're going now. It must be a bloody good party, the way you're dressed.
Mate, Shane, would you believe he's already had a function this morning? He's done this, and now he's going to another function. That's just one of many functions he's going to today. He's very popular.
And all for free, just for charity. That's what I do it for, RS. Look forward to your company next week. And Hutchi, happy punting on a big day.
Yep, all the best, and all the best to all of you at home. Don't forget to subscribe as well. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, please join us, HutchiesHonkers.com for a full analysis of the meeting on Sunday. Thanks for watching.